We'll take the next question. Assalamu alaikum. Can women visit graveyards according to Islam? My name is Sayyid Simra. I am a student from Srinagar, Kashmir. First, we'll discuss regarding the basic ruling of graveyards. As far as visiting graveyards is concerned, there's a hadith of beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, which says, Nahaytukum an ziyaratil qubur fazuruha. That I prohibited you from visiting the graves, but now visit the graves. Previously, the ruling as far as visiting the graveyard for the Muslims was concerned, it was prohibited. Because during the early stages of Islam, it was prevalent that people used to go to the graves, revere the graves, ask from the dead, and do things that would lead to shirk. So it was prohibited. And later on, when Muslims, they learned more about Islam and they knew the rulings regarding Islam, it was permitted. But not only it being permitted, our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, encouraged an individual to go to the graves, as it reminds us regarding death. As far as visiting the graves for men is concerned, it is a sunnah. And this is the opinion of all the four madhahib: the Hanafi school of thought, the Maliki school of thought, the Shafi'i school of thought, and the Hanbali school of thought. And in fact, certain scholars have said that it is ijma, as reported by Ibn Abdul Barr. He says that it is an ijma, that it is a sunnah for the men to visit the graves. And the evidence that they give is the hadith that I quoted. Now, as far as visiting the grave or the graveyard for the woman is concerned, the scholars, they have differed upon this into three opinions. The first opinion is that it is permitted for women to visit the graveyards, and this is the opinion of the Hanafi school of thought, as well as one of the opinions of the Shafi'i school of thought, and one of the opinion of the Maliki school of thought, and a riwayah an Imam Ahmad, one of the opinion of Imam Ahmad as well. So mainly this is the opinion of the Hanafi school of thought. They say that it is permitted for women to go to the graves, and the evidence that they give is the hadith of beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. Nahaytukum an ziyaratil qubur fazuruha. That I prohibited you from visiting the graves, but now visit the graves. Previously it was prohibited for people to visit the graves for the Muslims, and then later on it became permitted, and our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, encouraged. So the hadith which says fazuruha, so visit the graves, it is aam, it is general, which includes men and women. And the purpose for visiting the graves, as it is mentioned in other ahadith, that it reminds a person regarding death. And this includes both men and women. The hadith does not specifically say fazuruha regarding visiting the graves, that it is only for men. So the Hanafi school of thought and the first group of scholars, they say that it is permitted for women to visit the graves. The other evidences that they give is the ahadith of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, other ahadith, and one of the hadiths that they mention is when our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was passing by a graveyard, and there was a woman who was weeping and was crying. So our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told her, ittaqillaha wasbiri. Fear Allah and be patient. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not prohibit this woman from visiting the graveyard. If it was haram, the Prophet, peace be upon him, would have prohibited her from visiting the graveyard. Another evidence that they give is regarding Aisha radiallahu anha, wherein she visited the graveyard, and she visited the grave of her brother Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakr. And when she was told that the Prophet, peace be upon him, prohibited from visiting the graveyard, so she said that he prohibited and then he permitted it. The second group of scholars, they say that it is makruh, it is discouraged or disliked for women to visit the graveyards. And this is the opinion of the Hanbali school of thought, as well as the opinion of the Shafi'i school of thought, that they say that it is makruh for women to visit the graveyard. And the evidence that they give is the hadith of beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, la'ana Allah zuwarat al-qubur, that the Prophet, peace be upon him, cursed the woman who visits the graves. And they say that this does not refer to it being prohibited, but rather it refers to it being makruh. And the evidence that they give is the hadith of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, that the Prophet, peace be upon him, passed by a graveyard, and there was a woman who was weeping in the graveyard. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, told her, ittaqillaha wasbiri, fear Allah and be patient. So they use this as evidence. And the third opinion is the opinion, one of the opinions of the Hanafi school of thought, as well as one of the opinion of the Shafi'i school of thought. And it is the opinion of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen, may Allah have mercy on all of them, that it is prohibited for the woman to visit graveyards. And they base it on the hadith of beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the hadith that I mentioned, لَعَنَ اللَّهُ زُوَّارَاتِ الْقُبُورِ, that the Prophet, peace be upon him, prohibited the woman, the Prophet, peace be upon him, cursed the woman who visits the graveyards. And in this hadith it says that the woman, the Prophet, peace be upon him, that لَعَنَ اللَّهُ زُوَّارَاتِ الْقُبُورِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curses the woman who visits the graveyards. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cursed the woman who visits the graveyards. This clearly proves that it is haram, it is prohibited for women to visit the graveyards. And the reasons that they give regarding the prohibition is that they say that the woman, she is emotionally weak, and when she goes to the graveyard, when she sees that her relative is being buried, she may cry and she may not be able to bear it. So that's the reason the third group of scholars, they give these reasonings and they say that it is prohibited for a woman to visit the graveyard. So I would request the sisters that to avoid visiting graveyards. As I have mentioned the opinion, several scholars say that it is makruh. Certain scholars even go to the extent of saying that it is haram, it is prohibited. So the sisters should avoid going to the graveyards, but naturally they can offer salatul janaza and they can do dua for the person who has passed away. When he is at home, they can do dua for him. There is no problem in this. But visiting the graveyards, the sisters should see to it that they avoid visiting the graveyards. So I hope that answers your question.